What is up, everybody? We're back again for another banger episode. I have got the King of Kings, Stefan from Expandi, the safest and probably the best LinkedIn automation software in the market right now, hands down. If you haven't used it, check it out. It is worth every single dollar and you will make money straight away. We've used it. We love it. Stefan, absolute honor. Thank you for jumping on board.
Yeah, thanks for the warm welcome. It's a great introduction, so I will stay for a while.
Awesome, Stefan. First question I ask everyone is, why do people pay you?
Because we provide the best software to help people actually getting better results, mainly for LinkedIn outreach approaches.
Okay, great. LinkedIn automation is a very finicky area, and it feels like only you have figured it out. The rest have tried, and it really hasn't worked. So everyone's scared with automation, and I'm sure your support is filled with people asking questions. So for those who are trying to sort of jump into automation, and especially LinkedIn, what are some outbound restrictions LinkedIn has these days that you advise people to be careful of?
Yeah, I think first of all, we all aware that since 2021, LinkedIn changed a lot of things on their platform to fight spam, as that's the number one problem. So they reduce the amount of actions people do on the platform, and instead of the spray and pray approaches, you also see that LinkedIn is heading more towards the situation where they want you to contribute to creating content and be active there as well. So I think first of all, the way how we do outreach on LinkedIn, that's changing. It's not enough anymore to just simply send a connection request and a follow-up message. It's more, I should say, social engaging. And if you can do a step back, come out of your comfort zone, and try to adopt these new ways of commenting on people's posts, trying to build authority, a personal brand by creating on a consistent way each and every day content, and use that as a starting point to engage and outreach people. I think that will make much more sense. But if you just talk numbers, purely outreach, I think 20 connection requests a day is acceptable. We can help you as well with 800 open emails, and of course we have some hacks to bypass all these limits. But it's not my style and not sort of my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Look, if anyone knows automation, you know it, and that's why I wanted to have you on board. So that's fair and makes perfect sense. I do agree with you on the social element of it as well. If you just create content, I say the same thing. I come from the cold emailing perspective. You can't just have the best offer, and even if it's the best offer, people won't buy. Consumers are smart. They're going to research you. They're going to see what you do. And then if you have some sort of presence on the internet, that is when you're going to get a good conversion, not just because you have the best offer. So on the money there. Now, another thing that I tend to ask outbound experts is, why do outbound experts like yourself, so on and so forth, do you suggest doing outbound to validate your agency, your business, your offering versus paid ads? Where do you stand on that perspective?
As a bootstrapped founder with a lean sort of mentality, we were in the beginning of our journey, for example, forced to came up with out of the box low cost strategies. So I'm actually used to do the opposite in comparing to paid advertisements. But lately, I also see, and also from people around me, that you can scale really, really fast through paid advertisements. So I think it's a bit of the stage where you are with your company and the money available to go double down on something.
Yes, fair enough. And that makes sense. I think if you know how to nail paid ads, it's a fantastic way to go ahead and scale it. I know there's some SaaS companies like Jasper, they absolutely hammered it. They crushed it with paid ads and content. So
they grow it to 40 plus million in a couple of months or something like that. Insane numbers.
Crazy numbers. Yeah, crazy numbers. On top of on the perspective of numbers, I want to speak about how Expandi acquired their first 1,000 customers. I know you've spoken about it in your conferences, and I've seen a lot of your talks, but I'd love the audience to also learn about this.
Yeah, of course, it's an interesting question. After we pivoted a bit in our beta to find the right audiences on the local market, I thought we actually need to find people who are already in love with LinkedIn, because it will save me some time in the demo calls to sell, and people who are already using automations. So what we did, we, as a former agency owner, I knew exactly all the advantages and disadvantages of all these tools. So I made kind of a comparing. And one of the worst, the most spammy tool out there with the largest community, I took them as an example, and I built actually a comparing page,
Nice,
first of
okay.
all. And secondly, I scraped all their social communities.
Nice, okay.
Then I converted these persons' email addresses into LinkedIn profiles. I uploaded them in Expandi, and I start using that for a soft outreach approach, just to become friends. Hey, we are in the same community. We both love competitor XYZ. I want to run some questions through you. Do you mind to give me some tips? We booked tons and tons of calls using that approach. And what we did, it was, I actually just asked all these people what was the worst things using that tool. And then I only needed to say, if I can solve it, would that work for you to jump over to Expandi? So that was the starting point. And to get the real traction is that we wrote a playbook out of this exact strategy. How we book these 40 appointments a week, how we scrape these competitors, the how, the why, the examples, the proofs, the results, the screenshots, everything in it. And then we started heavily distributing these not SEO optimized articles in the early days, as we had no SEO expertise within our company. So we distributed it using my LinkedIn profile at that time point, the other Facebook communities, growth hacking groups, agency groups, and a lot of upvoting on Indie Hackers, Zest, Quora, growth hackers, and that gave us a lot of traction. I think within 6 months we reached, mainly by using similar playbook strategies, 1 million run rate.
Wow.
After
Amazing.
launching our product. Amazing. And we did that together, these strategies, these playbook strategies. So we actually used our own tool to design the best out of the box strategies, and only the ones which performed really well, we took them apart, created playbooks out of it and started distributing that to the community. And secondly, I invested heavily in building relationships with micro influencers. So I manually went to Google, I picked up all books, articles, people who are talking about LinkedIn automation, and recommended another tool. I found our LinkedIn profiles, used Expandi to just try to become friends with them, and some big ballers in the niche, like Max Makarenko, which is currently our CMO. He has a huge audience in Russian-speaking audience. Ilya Azovchev. He was at that time point the growth marketer from Lemless. He's, by the way, also working now at Expandi.
I saw that.
And Houston Golden from Banff Media, Nick Kosmin from Sales Process. So that really helped to build out a reputation and authority. And already in an early stage, we could say we are backed by these big ballers. All these people are using us. So that gave a lot of trust.
Makes sense. Now, micro influencers is an absolute gold mine growth hack. But how do you create relationships with these people without sounding too salesy? Like they know you're coming to be their friends. They have the audience. So do you mind sharing some tips, even for me, as I'm trying to learn? How do I go
let's break down two cases which brought us a lot of revenue. One of them is the case with Max Makarenko. He had a huge Russian-speaking audience, and we gave him quite a good percentage in an affiliate model, actually an ambassador role. So it was a win-win. Every sign-up we got through him, he got paid as well. And the other one with Houston Golden, we provided him with strategies. We gave him, let him play around with the software. We helped him.
Okay.
So we spent a lot of time actually to get him familiar with the tool. And then he slowly got convinced, in comparing to the current tools he was using, that our one was way better fit for him. So we actually gave more than we asked back.
I was gonna say it seems like a very give-based approach.
It's also only works if you hyper target it, have the availability, can spend that time. So it's not something that will be done within a day, or one call or one
Yeah,
message.
it takes
You,
time.
you really need to show yourself
Yeah, makes
and
sense.
provide.
When you're saying this, I remembered. So we've obviously had a conversation before, and something I picked a lot of notes from that. But one thing that I really, really enjoyed was how you spoke about. And we people speak about this, like, listen to your competitors, look at the reviews, and find out what's wrong. I think one thing you did really well when you said you positioned Expandi in a very crowded market at that point, and still came out to be the biggest player, was no one was playing on the safety angle, right? No one was
Correct.
speaking about safety, and then you're like, that's it, that's the angle that really resonates because everyone's speaking about that, and we're gonna just hammer that angle, and it
Yeah.
absolutely crushed it for you.
And
So
the most funny thing was in the beginning, I was actually praying and begging that it did not fall apart
yeah,
in the
yeah,
first
yeah,
couple
yeah,
of months.
yeah,
But we managed to survive. But
yeah,
we kept pronouncing,
yeah.
and somehow people start believing you if you're a trustful
To
person.
speak about,
So
and that's another thing, right? Another lesson I learned from you was, you marketing is not just about saying it once and letting it be. It's, you need to say it again and again and again and again. Eventually people will start believing you. So just some wise thoughts for people who are trying to get into this space. If you're in a crowded market, find an angle that works really well. And the second thing is, you can't say it once, you need to say it again and again for people to actually start believing, in your own voice. And that is fantastic, and that sort of gives me a nice segue into my next question, which is, if you were to tell someone something about getting their first paying customer in 2 weeks, what are three things you would do if you're starting from zero right now?
yeah, I should start building a personal brand, and start building authority on Twitter, on LinkedIn. Especially Twitter is a really great resource to follow the most interesting people who are sharing value, giving all these things away. Yeah, so I should definitely focus on building out a personal brand, start sharing or build in public, ask
Yep,
feedback, start sharing things. On top of that,
yep.
try to create a community, a safe place where you can push all people in which want to engage with you, which have an interest in the topic. Yeah, I'm more kind of a community marketer. I should
Fair
focus on
enough.
that.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense. Okay, fair enough. And on that note of building up a community-based growth engine, right? When you're actually trying to go ahead and communicate, like, as you said, you build relationships with people, you've done that at scale, but you've hyper targeted. Can you explain to me how you personally personalize at scale using LinkedIn or even Expandi? You can jump into how Expandi does this.
Yeah, it's I personally, if I use this for outreach or engaging with people, I'm not a hard seller, so
Yeah,
I love soft approaches. So let's say if I
yeah.
want to invite you for a group, hey,
Okay.
fire up, it's Stefan here. I just created a new group. I saw you like that content. It's for growth
Yeah,
pros like yourself.
yeah,
PS using Golden or this agency
yeah.
owner is also in it. I should do it that way with the soft
Okay,
approach. And if I
okay.
outreach people on LinkedIn, I should do it these days with a strong angle. So the starting point it needs to be on point. It can be people who engage with a similar post or with my content, and
Hmm.
use that as an angle.
Sure,
People who plan to go to a similar event.
sure. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
and with some fun in it, some jokes.
yeah.
The one is still working really well with hey first name, haha. All jokes aside, 5F, these sort of
Yeah,
fun. Yeah, I'm more doing that.
something that actually breaks the ice versus hi first name blah 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 blah. It's something that's unique that actually catches the eye of someone else. So makes
Yeah,
sense.
exactly. Yeah.
Um, and you mentioned something very unique, which is you scrape people's engagement to go ahead and find high intent value, right? Or someone's attending a group or another event as well. Is that something you can do with Expandi, or what tool do you recommend to do something like that?
Yeah, all these things just mentioned are able to
Oh, directly
execute
to Expandi.
with Expandi.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
fantastic, fantastic,
yeah.
fantastic. Now comes the next thing that I wanted to ask you, which is, you've got a lot of customers. You've got a lot of customers who are very successful, and I'm sure there's some people who tend to struggle sometimes. Now, for the ones who are successful, what is the most common trait that you've seen with your successful
Um,
customers?
yeah, I think it's with everything people do. To be successful, you need to be consistent. You need to show up each and every day, fill your pipelines, do your searches, clean your searches, and make sure that things are running each and every day. Most of the people, they start quite enthusiastic. They do one search, they push people in it. They forget to follow up. They do not fill it, refill it. And so I I should definitely say consistency is
the biggest marker.
yeah.
Makes sense. I couldn't agree more with you. That's pretty much what we say as well. Is like every day, each day show up, even when you're not getting results, just pound, 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 and eventually the compound will show up. We're in 2023. We're in a world where AI is taking over left, right, and center. Are you currently using AI for your outbound? If so, can you sort of share some tips on how others can do it as well?
Yeah, aside the fact that I'm a fan of what you guys are doing with the personalized lines and things.
Yeah.
We will come up very soon with quite an interesting
Cool.
tool, which is AI related, and it will actually help you to create content on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So actually say
Nice.
based on preferences and keywords, we will show a mentory from a database with millions and millions of posts. The most or the best ones, you can pick them out, you can rewrite them in the same structure, in the same style. You can decide to schedule it, to post it.
Nice.
So you can actually create 1 month's content in a very short amount of time.
Ah, nice. Love it.
And the side of that, we give you the ability to use it also for lead gen. And in that case, you can start following your ICPs or people you want to work with together. And as soon as they create content, you'll be able to generate an AI
Oh,
comment.
awesome. So you've sort of cycled the whole thing up. Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Makes
so
sense. Makes sense. Okay. Awesome. Which also fits well with how you said building social authority and stuff before you actually do outbound. So perfect sense over there. I want to jump into actually how you do outbounds because you clearly know something most people don't. And do you mind sort of walking us through what the anatomy of a successful outbound campaign looks like? Like how many follow-ups do you send? Do you use lead magnets? How do you handle rejection? What does the second follow-up include?
Yeah. Our sales team is using a different approach as I do as a founder. We all try to build out authority and step a bit more in the content game and use that as a starting point. So as I mentioned before, I like more soft approaches. So share value, build out authority, try to gain followers or people who like what I do. And I became quite successful with giveaway strategies on Twitter and also on LinkedIn. My latest LinkedIn post got
I saw a million.
Almost close to 1 million views. So is a lead magnet included there. Pure value strategies, things people can execute on, things which worked for me as a founder to grow my business in the early stage. So yeah, I think that's the main tactic I use successfully is giveaway strategies with lead magnets connected and follow up on that afterwards.
So it's a lot. It's like an inbound outbound strategy, right? Because you're sort of pre-qualifying the person, so they're not completely seeing you out of the blue, but they have interacted with you first. So you're coming in with a powerful position already. So very smart.
Yeah, and I can put some retargeting on the lead magnet. They need to fill in first an email address. I will also mention it's not to spam you, but just to ask your feedback on it. So then they are in our ecosystem, and then we can nurture them slowly. With other pieces of content. So, but if you purely speak to outbound, and you should ask me, okay, what outbound plays should work? I should combine it. I should combine LinkedIn with email touchpoints. I should start on LinkedIn as that's by far the best data source with the most accurate data out there and quite easy ways to find and scrape people. I can run a sales nav search for my ICPs. I can add an additional filter for people who change job roles. I can leverage that by sending in GIF animation where I'm with a bottle of champagne and congrats on the new job role and just try to build a friendship there. I think that's an interesting ongoing play to constantly run and gain some extra leads with a couple of follow-ups. Event strategy is quite interesting, especially as LinkedIn is also making it so simple to host your LinkedIn event. Within 5 minutes, you can set it up. And if you do it from a company page, it automatically opts in all the email addresses, which you can leverage for email outreach as well. So I think that's a great opportunity, is also to show your expertise. And we are all only focused on LinkedIn mainly to gain new people, gain new followers, make more connections, and nobody is actually leveraging first degree connections. So it's a great opportunity to invite on autopilot all your first degree connections, or after making a sales nav search, that you're running an event and use an event inviter in Expandi to do that on autopilot. And that makes sure that if you do that well prepared 1 month before, that only with such a simple strategy you can gain 1,000 attendees towards your event. These people, because they opt in with an email address, you can, after the event, you can follow up, you can nurture them, you can do them offer through email. So I should always combine both channels.
Interesting. That's such a cool idea. Okay, we're gonna try that out as well. Give that a shot.
I can send you the playbooks over from own experiences. Happy to share it with your community as well. So
I would love it, 100%, and we definitely will go ahead and pump that through. So I think that's good value. LinkedIn's still a sleeping giant, and people can take full advantage of it. So just jumping into the last one or two questions. Just be cautious of time. I guess I've got two questions here right now for you. What are 3 hot niches you see that have picked up heat recently through your customers and stuff? What are some offers, places where people are making money? We know e-commerce is. Let's not talk about that. That's exhausted.
I think agencies still is growing super fast. I think you can confirm it, as I say.
Yes.
You also work with all the big ballers out there, like Rob, Levy, and all these guys, right? And Sean. So leveraging their communities and building out relationships and provide them as much as possible value. I think that's interesting. SaaS is growing super fast. I yesterday read an article from SaaS, published by SaaS Talk, that especially in the US market it's blowing up. So it's still and a lot of them are funded, so there's money available to focus on. So definitely these two. For a lot of companies, enterprise is quite hard to enter, as you need a lot of compliance things, SOC 2, GDPR, which makes it a bit more challenging, especially for a lot of outreach tools.
Yes.
These two by far should have my special attention.
Fair enough. Makes sense. And last question for you, as someone who gets LinkedIn more than anyone, what are 3 things every LinkedIn outbound campaign should have?
It should, first of all, very boring, but we should. It all depends on your profile. That's the starting point. That's how people see you if you're visiting back. So I should always recommend to make it catchy, to have a great headline, to have an on point background and profile image with a summary. And after that, targeting is becoming more important than ever. It's not a winner to go on with spray and pray approaches. So I think a smart strategy to target the right audiences and find the angle to make a warm hook is the second one. What people need to do, that can be done with post engagement search, as you're not able to create content on your own. Just scrape it from other people who can do it really well and which resonates with your audience. And the third one, user personalization. It can be in GIF image. It can also be a personalized line created by your great tool.
Makes sense. Awesome, Stefan. Absolute gold mines over here. Some things for me to try it as well as a person. So I'm going to give that a shot, especially your event strategy. I think that's something that's a golden idea to try out. For those who want to reach you, what's the best place to reach you? Because I know you're available.
Yeah, I'm back on LinkedIn now since a couple of months. So I expect they could not miss me any longer. So just send me a connection request on LinkedIn. You can it's just my name, Stefan Smulders, and then
that's great. Awesome.
I
And I know your
will
LinkedIn is going
accept the
really
invite.
quickly. It went from zero from I think 8K or 9K right now, and I think it's just going to keep skyrocketing very, 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 very quickly. So, um,
I'm full focus on it, so let's
that's
try.
good. That's good. That's good. Awesome, Stefan. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and have a great day. And I'll see you on the field.